Welcome back, regular viewer, loyal subscriber to Football Manager 2022 and the exciting football team at Brackley Town. And it's still the 5th of July 2021 in game, 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and experienced international coach Hope Powell has taken the Brackley hot seat, avoiding all the pun-laden newspaper headlines like Hope comes to Brackley. Fortunately, we don't have to think about that kind of thing. Now, last time we set up our first tactic for Brackley Town, which turned into this tiki-taka style 4-2-4 formation, taking advantage of the fact that our key strengths within the team are pace, acceleration, passing. We're quite a lightweight technical team, and I think this style of play and this formation will give us a lot of oomph in attack with taking advantage of our two excellent pressing forwards, while still retaining a reasonably solid defensive posture. Now, I'm expecting this tactic to leak goals a little bit. In the analysis, we do have some concerns that will influence our defence, but I'm hoping that this strike force here of our incredibly fast wingers, Wes York and Matt Lowe, and our reasonably fast and capable front line of Lee Ndlovu and Bradley Rolt can outscore the opposition, so we should be able to do some good damage. Now, one of the things about tactics that you must do, particularly as a lower league team that are going to be facing superior opposition regularly, is to set up the set pieces as part of the tactic. There's quite a comprehensive set piece planner as part of Football Manager, and we'll go through that now with Brackley Town. Now, Brackley, as you can see from this list of the key stats involved in dead ball situations, doesn't have a lot of depth in terms of being able to take good corners. In fact, we only have one person in double digits for corner taking, so James Armson is, with a 10, average at taking a corner, but he's the best we've got, so I think we may well have to rely on him to take free kicks. We do note that Shepherd has 9, which isn't too bad, so given we might want a bit of variety with the right and left foot, we can drop these two in to our preferred takers on the right side and the left side of corners. Now, in free kicks, there are a number of different styles or situations of free kicks. In fact, 4. Direct free kicks are those that are fired directly at the goal. So you're looking for somebody who has good free kick skill and long shots as well, and composure probably. There's also those direct shots where you could fire at the goal, but more often than not, you're going to drop it off to a colleague to take a shot. So that's direct with a small chance of a shot. And then you have the 2 indirect free kicks where the ball, unless by accident, is not going to go towards the goal. Instead, we're going to swing the ball into a danger area for one of our team to try and get a good goal scoring opportunity, often with the head, because this is kind of a planned cross. But given our team is not very good on the heading, we can ask our team, instead of floating crosses in, to whip them in, or to go short, which I think will probably not be hugely useful, or keep it low and hope one of our team can pick it up. But we note within the free kick takers, if we sort by free kicks, we've got a few people on the team that are below average, but the best we have. Again, James Armson sits in here. Matt Lowe is one of our attacking wingers, might be our best bet here. Tariq Yusuf is currently out of contract. We're not paying him any money, and has a reasonable score. Reasonable, still below average. We're not going to be very good on free kicks, so it could be that, you know, we're in the market for somebody with much better free kick capability. And then the last, apart from penalties, the last set piece that's officially listed in here is in throw-ins. And we have some people here who are capable of throwing. Connor Franklin, because his pace is quite low, I don't want him to be out of position by asking him to take throw-ins on the right-hand side of the pitch, because he's our left defence. So I'm going to pop him in on the left side. If Jordan Cullinane-Liberd is going to be playing, then he will be good on the right, but otherwise I'll just let the match engine decide who's going to take our throws on each side. So we'll go for that. So back to free kicks for a moment. We may well want different people taking direct free kicks compared to those taking indirect free kicks. So for direct free kicks, the free kick score is important, but also long shooting. And in this case, I think James Armson is going to be better at shooting because his long shots is 12. He's got good flair, so he does the unexpected. His finishing is good. He's got decent composure. And, you know, so even with a 7 in free kick taking, he's probably the best we have at the moment for direct free kicks. So regardless of the side, I'm going to pop him in here. Let's just have a quick look at Matt Lowe. Matt Lowe's free kick taking is better than James Armson. His long shots are 8s with finishing. Doesn't have a very high composure. He's not a flair player. So just given the style of this, plus his crossing is not too bad as a 9, he's probably going to be better on the indirect free kicks rather than direct free kicks. So we will change that up. So where there's a small chance of a shot, you know, I'm happy to let Matt have a go, and we'll put James in as sort of secondary. Let's just check Tariq Yusuf. His long shots isn't too bad, finishing, composure, and crossing. So as a kind of a tertiary backup, I don't think he is too bad at all. So we'll drop him in both in direct as a sort of backup here, and indirect. I mean direct with a small chance of shot. On the indirect side, we're going to ask Matt Lowe to take all of our free kicks at the moment, with Tariq as a backup. But ultimately, sorry, I'm not going to put him in first. We're probably going to be in the market to get somebody better to do this, because I'm not sure many of these are going to be successful. And so we've set up our takers here for the moment, and the match engine will take care of anything else if we haven't specified, or if it doesn't work, given the sidedness of the player. So now in terms of set pieces, we can go into the detail of our plans. So this is the generic setup for a corner. We have a person taking the corner, and their instruction, this is defending a corner, sorry. If we're attacking a corner on the left hand side, we have James Armson taking the corner. his instructions here are to mix up the types of corner that we take, but we have various options to say to focus the player on one of 5 different corner taking styles. We could ask him to go short, but we don't have any players short. We could ask him to focus on the near post here, if we want to put a good tall player here with good heading and jumping ability, or back post, similarly, the far post over here, the edge of the area. So if we have one of our attacking players here lurking on the edge of the area, the LOA, then we could pass it to them, or the 6-yard box, which is kind of the danger zone here just around the goal. And we could just pack all of our players in the centre and just try and get lucky, I guess. So we want to arrange a number of different routines, and Football Manager allows you up to 3 routines, and the engine will automatically rotate through them or swap between them depending on its decision making. So you don't have to stick to the same kind of routine each corner you get. You can use a variety of routines. I've already set up a set of routines which you can transfer between teams, and we can load them in, so we can use that as a starting point rather than dragging and dropping these little shirt icons around and giving them different tasks. You want to make sure if your person taking the corner is one of your people sitting at the back of the pitch, that you don't leave yourself short back here, because if the ball doesn't go your way and the opponent manages to clear it, they're likely to have a player up here, and you could be prone to a counter attack if you have insufficient defensive capabilities sitting behind the ball back in your defensive area. So I would recommend you don't push all of your players up. Leave at least 2 or 3 people back here, maybe 2 definitely, and then somebody who stays back if it's required, just to cover off the fact that this might not always be James Armson. If he's been subbed off and somebody else is on, it might decide for some reason to take our left defensive player and put him up here, and that would leave us short to the back. So in terms of creating new routines, this is a bit of a finicky part of the Football Manager engine. It's not that intuitive. Each routine is specific to whether you're defending or attacking, and whether it's left or right hand side. And so you have to create a routine, save it as an individual thing, and then you add a new routine and repeat that procedure. But you have to save the routine for each individual creation here. And once you have gone through the 3 routines, or the up to 3 routines that you can have on each side, then you can save them all as a whole. When you save all routines, it's not just those in attack on the left and in attack on the right. It's also all of the free kick routines. It's all of the all 4 of the free kick routines, with all of the individual routines on each side. So that's the way to save your routines for a particular team, for a particular team formation. So I'll show you just loading a routine. I've created a whole raft of different routines depending on whether I'm playing as a 5-3-2 or a 4-2-4, or you could end up with a lot of little files depending on the situation here. But if, for example, we take corners attacking from the left, aimed at the near post, and that's going to be our first routine, we'll load that in, and you can see how I've set this up here. I've got my right midfielder here aiming at the near post as a player instruction. I've got my big lads have come up from the back, my central defenders that have probably decent strength, jumping and heading. they are lurking on the near post, lurking on the far post, and I have my attacking duo attacking that post. So this involves sort of the minimal disruption to the formation, because I've still got my left striker at the left and my right striker at the right. Similarly with my defenders, so if they need to recover back to their positions, they don't have to go perhaps quite as far. I've got a member of the attacking team lurking on the edge of the area, and I've got a few people hanging at the back, because probably more than I might with another team, because I'm anticipating that for a lot of these I'm actually going to lose control of the ball during our corner taking. Now ideally I'd want somebody attacking the ball in the centre, because you can get some decent shots this way. If I was to do that with this tactic, I might take one of my attacking midfielders here and attack the ball from the edge of the area. So he's got decent speed, and we could improve this tactic a little bit by having more attacking threat here, because I've only got 4 players up front, and the opposition is not going to have a problem with being overloaded over here. So as a consequence of that alteration, I'll ask my left and right defender, as well as my left more defensive midfielder, to stay back for definite, but we'll have somebody lurking on the edge of the box, somebody attacking the ball from the area, and this kind of attack force. So I'm going to save that routine. I'll save it over that one, and that is that one position with a single routine. But now we want to create a new one to create an option, and in this case we're going to, the UI is broken there somewhat. You can see that we've got our first routine is locked in. Now this is routine number 2, and this we will do at the far post. So this is corners, attack, left, far post. Here we go. So you can see I've kept the same basic structure here, with James Armstrong taking the far post shot now, more than often. We have swapped around our strikers. The reason why I've done this is our left striker, Lee Endlovu, is taller and better at heading than our near post striker, Bradley Ralt, who has a jumping range of 3. He's 5'5". He is not likely to be winning headers against 6'4" centre-backs with high strength ratings. But we still have our big defensive units up to try and win the headers. So we've got 2 potent headers at the back post here. And if we're going to continue with the theme of attacking the ball from the centre of the park as well, we'll bring in Matt Lowe to do that. Although we've got the option of Wes York. We could choose to save that as a separate routine if we wanted to. But let's save that routine. We'll keep the same name, so it just overwrites it. So now we can see that we have 2 routines saved in the attacking left corners thing. We can have a third. I'm not going to do a third, because then we're going to go to the right and we'll do the same thing. So we'll load a routine on the right. These are ones I've created before, so we'll do a near post option. And I've changed this up substantially. It looks like I've got our defensive units on the lurking near the posts. I'm attacking the posts, but because it's near post, I have Lee and Lovu attacking the post on here. So I've got 2 strong headers here. I've decided to have somebody marking the keeper to further disrupt, and I've got another player lurking in, going forward into the area to compete for space and trying to drag defenders away from other threats, which is very different to the near post structure I have on the left. it does leave us just with a couple of people at the back, and we're not attacking the ball in the middle. So I might want to decide to change this to reflect the other side, or we can just go with it. And I think I'm quite happy to go with it. We'll create a new routine here. We'll load corners right far post this time. And again, I've got my right defender marking the keeper, just further confuse the issue. But we're keeping a number of people back there, so that should be cool. And once I'm happy with stuff on the right hand side, where I've got my near post and my far post set up, then I can save routines and go on to the next one. So we can just check that we have our 2 routines there, and we can just check that we've got our 2 routines there, and once we're happy with those, we can save all of the routines and say this is our routine set for Hope Pal in Brackley. Once we've done the corners, then we can go to, let's do throw-ins next. So throw-ins on defence are, we're keeping that default at the moment. On attack, we have plenty of options here. Who's going to come short? Who's going to go long? Now, throwing on our left is our strength, because we have somebody here in Connor Franklin with incredible low flat throws that will go a huge distance. So what we want to do, instead of going mixed, to say let's go real long from the left hand side, and let's make sure we have our best headers of the ball up for this, perhaps in a way that the opponent will not be expecting. So we're going to, just to begin with, have our best header in terms of our striker at the, could go near post, but he's got such a good long throw score, I'm tempted to go at the far post and see if he can get it that far. Oh, that's Bradley Roll. No, let's swap with, there we go, that should be Lee and Lovu. Okay. At the front post, we're going to want to have one of our defenders. In this case, I'm going to put, no, not you, you're taking the, something's gone wrong here. Gareth Dean, there we go. So we'll want him lurking at the near post, or attacking the near post. I'll have him lurking because he's not necessarily as mobile. And we might want to have our defensive partnership working together at the near post with a striker at the back post. We must keep our defences strong, so we'll have our right defender hanging back. We'll have our more defensive midfielder hanging back. And James Armson, who's attack the ball from the edge of the area, I think I'll ask him to do. Bradley Roll, I'm going to bring short. Oh no, he can lurk on the outside of the area. He's probably quite effective there. And we'll have our 2 wingers coming short, so they can either whip balls in this way or whip balls in that way, depending on which foot they're using, if the thrower decides to pick one of those out. We still have 2 people definitely back, not including the left defender who's taking the throw. So we can then save that as our routine. So I'm going to call that routine throws left long 2. And then we can do the same for the, or we would do the same for the right hand side if we had somebody with good long throws at the right hand side, but here we don't know who's taking it because I haven't set up anybody to throw it. So we're going to leave it at default. We know we have 3 people back at, if we need them. We've got the attacking team at the front. They're perhaps not the most gifted in terms of heading, but then this player is not likely to have anything to write home about in terms of long throws. So if we leave it mixed instructions, we might not be as potent in throws on the right, but we won't disgrace ourselves by just chucking the ball to the opponent with no real hope of winning the ball. And that's fine. So then we can save all of those routines again. We'll do Hope Power Brackley. Right, and we're just going to check that our corners are still there. Yeah, we still have the correct corners done. I keep checking because I keep doing this in the wrong order. Free kicks are by far the most laborious of these because you've got 4 different types of free kick: direct, small chance of shot, wide and deep. And you have to set up potentially 3 routines for each of these. We've got 12 potential routines for each side, so that's 24 routines to configure if you're going to go the whole hog and have 3 alternate routines for each type of free kick. I'm not going to go through this on the video, but you've seen the way of doing this. So what I'm going to do is load routines up for the ones that I want to take. I clearly haven't, I've just got 1 routine on the left and on the right. So this is the right routine, so I'll load this one. And then the left routine I can load. Oh, these are the defend ones, okay, well, that's fine. If you want custom instructions for defend, you can do that. On the attack, load routines, attack left direct. You can see I've made some adjustments as to what I'm going to be doing here. I've got the strikers on the posts. I've got our big defenders up front and kept the attacking midfielders up here, but made sure I've got a few people in reserve. And on the right, load attack right direct. Because it's a direct free kick, we're not anticipating these guys doing anything other than rebounds. So if you were really thinking about it, you might want to put people with high anticipation up front to pounce on those rebounds, high agility maybe, as well as finishing to pick up anything that bounces around in the box. So small chance of shot, load routine on the right, and we'll go load it on the left. You can see how laborious this gets to do it, but there is an upshot of taking control of all of the different types, particularly when you're going wide and deep, because here you want the people who can cross the ball. Left indirect wide. With this I'm going far post, and I've put my best defensive header on the far post, hoping that he'll win the heading battle and either score from there or get it into the other people who are pushed forward. We've got somebody on the edge of the area attacking the ball just in case of rebounds. We still have 2 defenders, the left and right, hanging back. I could add new routines to this, but I'm not going to, because we're just not that good at set pieces right now. And this is on the right. There we go. And then we'll move on to deep. Load routine on the right, indirect deep. Far post again. And on the left, load routine. There we go. So we just make sure that we've kept all of those sets, you can see by these that it's actually named rather than routine 1. If I saw that as routine 1, then I would know it hadn't saved properly. So again, we're going to save all routines just to make sure they're added to our collection. And then we can go on to do penalty takers as well. It might be worth us having a quick look. Here, penalty taking, finishing and composure are the 3 sort of salient stats here. We can see that James Armson is our best penalty taker by a lot. From the penalty stat, Connor Franklin would be next, but he's got 6s in composure and finishing, whereas Lee and Lovu, you know, if you total these up, just to give you an indication of how strong he is, we've got 23 here, whereas here we've got 30. So it gives you a 7-point margin. I'm going to take Connor Franklin out as a penalty taker and focus on Lee here. Bradley is very good at finishing, perhaps not quite as good at taking penalties, but we've still got 16 plus 13, so we've still got 29 there. So I'll put Bradley Roll as the 3rd penalty taker, because I think Connor Franklin is kind of with these 2 influencing stats on top of the penalties, he may well lose his cool at key points and fluff the shot. So there are better penalty takers. You know, even Jordan and Trey and Glenn may well have a chance of just surpassing Connor Franklin's ability when taking penalties. So with all of those set, noting the little box here that allows anybody who's already scored 2 goals in the team to override the penalty takers and for them to try and get their hat-trick. We're not blessed with penalty takers, but then also we're not maybe hugely likely to have one player scoring more than 2 goals in a game on a regular basis, so I don't care about having that one set. That's fine, but your mileage may vary. So that, on top of our 4-2-4 tactics, we now have our set piece organised to rotate between multiple routines, and that should give us as best as Brackley Town can manage at the moment without changes in personnel, a decent chance of at least not disgracing ourselves in set pieces, and maybe a source of goals outside of goals coming from the open play on the field. And if finally we can find somebody with good dead ball skills, we can combine their dead ball skills, and you know, maybe if we acquire people who are better at jumping and heading than the average in the league, we can start to turn this from a weakness within the team into a significant strength over the course of the season. So that was all I wanted to go through in terms of set pieces today. There's probably more to say about them in terms of getting the tactics right, but like many of these mechanics, it's all about balance and emphasis, and there isn't a brutal solve everything tactic. Actually, I tell a lie. There's probably 1 or 2 set piece constructions that work better in the match engine than others, but being able to get there organically by trying a structure out, seeing how it works, and then over a period of matches making a decision as to whether to stick with it or experiment with an alternative, I think is part of the fun of Football Manager, rather than going onto a site that simulates thousands of far post corners and works out for a given set of players in a given scenario which set piece design is more effective within the engine. I don't think that's hugely reflective of the way that football is, because there are no guarantees that a particular corner taken by a particular player is going to pan out in a particular way. So although football, there are a lot of stats, there's a lot of analysis of data built into the modern professional game. Certainly playing with a lower league team here, I don't think that's representative of what we're doing here. But this is a computer game, and single player computer game, and that for the most part. So you play it your way. And certainly I found my happiness just experimenting with different formats and seeing what works for me and for my team. And the uncertainty is all part of adding to the drama. If people won all the time, then there wouldn't be any tension, and you wouldn't be quite as excited by recovering a 3-0 deficit in the second half by a superlative performance and capping it off with a set piece on the 92nd minute, and seeing one of your carefully designed corner taking routines actually come up with the winning goal. That's what the game's about. That being said, I'm already several hours into this playthrough and we haven't even got to a match. Still got one or two things to tidy up before we advance time and get going. So we need to have a look at match plans and whether we're going to use them or not, because most of the players on Steam don't use them. And I have to admit, they're a clunky part of the engine which may or may not reap benefits. Setting up friendlies and how to use them to advantage your team in terms of money, because they are a way of generating revenue for the team outside of the season itself. And for a team that is relatively poorly financed, friendlies against the right teams can really give you a cash injection that is imperative to survival. And then as we start to roll forward, we will look at training for the team, match preparation, and then the match engine itself, which will be the kind of the highlight of this YouTube set of videos, where we're having a look at what we're doing during the game, analysing the player performances, and feeding that back into changes to our tactics, set piece delivery, and even the recruitment puzzle, to make sure that our team is developing in a forward manner. But that's it for me today. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
I fought with lions and wolves, but I've never fought myself before. It's over everything